I have partnered up with Alois to make a brand new Mordekaiser and Garen guide on the Summoner School website. I gave out every single piece of information that I thought was relevant to both champions and everything that I use personally. It explains how you should play in the mid to late game, itemization, champion matchups, and more. Each guide also has a unique matchup spreadsheet. If you want to check either guide out, you can use my link in the video description. With all that being said, please enjoy this video. The most important thing in this entire lane is to make sure that you don't greed into the Teemo. What you can do is literally perma-poke him with your Q every single time, and he can't do that much about it. Anytime he walks up to auto-attack you, you can Q him, and then eventually he will die. Even if he does an auto-Q to win the trade, you can activate your W and then you win the trade. Doran's Shield, Second Wind, and Revitalize offer a lot of sustainability into Teemo, and eventually he will run out of mana from using Q on you. It is also worth noting that his shrooms do not follow into the Death Realm. If he places one on Summoner's Rift at your feet, you can just ulti him and it won't follow. His blind can be kind of annoying because it makes it to where you can't auto attack him, so you can't get your passive up or keep it up, but that is usually manageable, especially if you can actually go Mercury Treads, because then his blind duration will be even lower. In this case, Teemo ran Lethal Tempo with Ignite, so he has a lot of auto attack damage in melee range, so I have to watch out for that. My first item that I like to go for will be Hextech Rocket Belt into Teemo, and this is because I can just use the Rocket Belt dash to get really close to him and beat him down. And after that I can build situationally for the enemy comp. Maybe I need an Experimental Hexblade or a Ronduin or a Spirit Visage. Most of the time after the first item, which is going to be Hextech Rocket Belt, you can build whatever into Teemo. He shouldn't be able to 1v1 you after one item anyway most of the time. Just make sure you don't greed a lot in the early game. Another thing that Teemo can do is rush Boots of Swiftness and activate W to dodge your Q or E. He will have a ton of extra movement speed when he has his W on plus Swifts, and trying to land an E on him when he has all those move speed sources will be very tough. Maybe it's more manageable to line up a Q if he walks up and auto attacks you and then you Q him in the middle of the auto animation, but otherwise it will still be difficult. What you can also do is after level 6 purchase a red trinket against Teemo and swap out your yellow one. If you do this, anytime he places a shroom you can just attack it to clear it, and that is very good into him. But that also means you can't actually ward up the river or something. But again, the main point in this lane is to make sure that you don't greed and play it slowly. If you just overextend and try to overforce into him, you may lose. And in this case, it is especially important for me to not greed because he has lethal tempo. So even if I am in melee range, if he's not poked enough from my Q, he might be able to win it, especially if my ultimate is down.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Right now, I am assuming Teemo is under his own turret being stealth. When I look to push out the wave here, I am thinking about that. There is a very good chance he's just sitting there under his own tower. And to confirm my theory, I actually use my Q and hit him. And then I follow it up with a full combo of ulti, ignite, and rocket belt, and that ends up getting the kill on him. I am trying to hold my W here because Rail Q breaks shields. What I could have also done though is reactivated my W really quickly, because that way even though I don't get any shield value, at least I get some of the health conversion.
Rampage. Your turret has been destroyed.
Depending on what setup the Jax takes, this lane can be easier or harder. The hardest setup that Jax can take for you by far is Ignite with Lethal Tempo. That will be his most aggressive early game setup. If he ever goes for that, you will need to rush a Bramble Vest. The reflect damage will be especially good on top of the armor, because he will auto attack you a lot, so then you will get a lot of value from that. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is the fact that Jax has a lot of magic damage. He has his W, E, and ulti, all deal magic damage. On top of that, his counter strike can make it to where if you're not careful, when you press your W, your shield bash attack will get blocked by it. And you also won't be able to stack up your passive while he counter strikes. And his counter strike also reduces 25% of the damage from AoE effects. And that includes your E, Q, and passive. This Jax took teleport with Grasp of the Undying, which means that it is a much better setup for me. I am able to fight him out way more early on. And if you can survive the early game in this matchup, you basically win it every time afterwards. Into Lethal Tempo, I rush Bramble Vest and maybe plated Steel Caps, and into Grasp of the Undying, I look to rush Haunting Guys most of the time. And my first item is almost always going to be a Rift Maker. And then I can go into something like a Liandry's or Bloodletter's Curse, or maybe even a Spirit Visage, something else. But the first item is essentially always Rift Maker in this lane. Try to fight him only when your W is up, otherwise you may lose the trade. And whenever he jumps on you with his Q, try to pull him off of you with your E. It isn't always going to happen, but it is ideal if you manage to do that, because otherwise he can auto attack you down really hard. Another thing you can do is wait for him to use his ultimate and fully stack his passive or Lethal Tempo and then use your ultimate on him. That way you are going to steal the maximum stats from him, because you will steal 10% of his bonus resist from his ultimate, and then you will also steal 10% of his attack speed from his passive and Lethal Tempo. And that will give you a rather large boost to your attack speed and overall tankiness. But you don't always need to do this, and it's not always proper to do it. Later on, Jax may go for Zhonya's, and that will make it to where he can stasis during your ultimate, but you should still be fine. Around 2 to 3 items, you basically beat him out almost always. You can get 2 or even 3 Ws out in a fight against him in the mid game, and then you win them. And in team fights, you can actually use your ultimate on him to make sure that he can't dive your backline and get an AoE stun on them, or maybe just burst someone down. But both side laning and team fighting work against Jax in my opinion.
Sacrifice and blood.
The POV will be back to the normal one at around level 4. Until then, it's gonna be this one. I messed something up on my end. This lane is a skilled matchup, but I would say it is more Cassante-sided. He can use his W, ulti, and all-out W to dodge your ultimate. All three of them cancel it, and it can be very difficult to get it off. On top of that, in the laning phase, what he can do is permanently Q auto you, and then eventually you will die from that, which is why I really like Second Wind Endurance Shield to sustain through that damage. You also have to watch out for the fact that he can kidnap you under tower, and if he does that, you will most likely die. Try to use your ultimate at an unpredictable timing, and maybe that way he won't be able to W your ult or ult your ult. For example, let's say you're in the beginning of the fight and you instantly ulti him, maybe he won't expect it and thus won't W it. But it is kind of a gamble. If you are right in his melee range and he uses W, try to distance yourself. And then if you are able to do that, you can then use your ultimate on him because he won't be in his ult range, so he won't be able to cancel it. He will most likely also look to rush a Kaenic Rookern, and if he does that, his short rating will be very strong. What I like to do into him is go for Bloodletter's Curse or Liandry's Torment first. Usually my 2 core will be those 2 items. Bladed Steel Caps can also be very good into him to outmaneuver him and make sure you dodge his Qs. And you need to make sure you dodge his all-out W. If you don't and you get hit by a full charge, you're probably going to lose it, because that will chunk you out really hard. The later the game goes, the better the 1v1 becomes for you for the most part, because in the super late game it will be tougher for him to 1v1 you.
Hesitation.
Thank you guys for joining me in this video. I hope you found the information useful, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully very soon.
I am favored by the gods and awaited in the Hall of Bones.